run that shit up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cincy Sharks podcast. We're now on to episode 11. Excited to get into this Bills recap. Excited to get into the Texans preview, Cincy Sharks parlay. And let's get started with this Bills recap. We striked out the jungle. That was a whole lot of fun. I can't believe we were able to pull it off.
Looked awesome. You guys were there.
Yeah, it was Section 106. Shout out. Everyone wore their orange. It was just amazing.
Looked awesome from the broadcast. They kept showing it from like the high angle.
Yeah.
They
was
did it at the stadium too. They had the shit. Oh, it looked so good.
It did look good.
So nice.
Really proud of our fan base for being able to pull.
Wasn't there some people that didn't think we would be able to do it?
Shout out to Tone Diggs for thinking that Mike Brown bought us shirts.
Oh, he did? He thought?
Yeah,
that's what he thought.
He's like, he thought we were too dumb to coordinate something like that.
Oh, wow.
And then he put out a half-ass apology.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, no, the apology just made it worse.
Show. Yeah.
I love Pat McAfee, and I love everyone there, but I can't stand Tone Diggs. He's like...
Definitely a Steeler fan.
What makes it worse is that he's like a Ben Roethlisberger era Steeler fan.
Yeah,
he still thinks that the Steelers are like a high-quality team.
They're just not.
When they are a very low-quality team.
I mean, they're still winning, but
because of the defense.
The defense keeps them in.
They have the worst offense in the league.
And they're very well coached. I mean, Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin's very good coach.
He will get the most out of anybody.
Yeah.
You even said it. C.J. Stroud has more touchdowns than Kenny Pickett does.
Yeah, already.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud has 14. Kenny Pickett has 13.
That is
insane.
Yeah, I thought I meant to put that in the doc, but I'm glad you brought it up still. I thought that was
had to take a shot at Kenny Pickett.
I like Kenny coming in,
I loved him in college.
My favorite part about Kenny Pickett is when he did that fake slide.
Yeah.
That was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That's what he got big for.
Yeah, and then they banned it, which is stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
it makes sense, but it just looks so cool.
Yeah, it did look sweet. But.
They can't perform in the NFL, so.
Yeah, I mean.
And then they got like the George Pickens stuff going. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
With the Week 9 recap.
This is the Bills recap.
Yeah, let's get to the Bills recap. What was your guys' favorite part about the game?
I would say just the kind of solidifying the fact that Burrow is back. I mean, he had a couple big, breakaway scrambles. Another one where he did that little jump move he does and gets away, delivered to T. Took a big shot, delivered to Boyd. Just good to see him fully back.
That was on 3rd and 10 too.
Yeah.
Big play.
Him fully back.
This is the offense that was advertised before the season.
Yep.
What we were supposed to be from the start and what we were supposed to be to the end. With the calf injury kind of set us back, and now we're here.
Mine was seeing all the non-Jamar Chase named players getting involved in the offense.
Especially that tight end room.
The tight end room. I think they had said like a fact on the broadcast. It was like Burrow had hit like 6, maybe it was like in between 6 and 8 different guys, like for completion in the game, which was wild.
That game was definitely got the tight ends involved early. I don't know if that was the game plan or not.
It definitely seemed like it.
Tanner Hudson was playing a lot more than I thought he would, with Irv Smith being healthy. But it was a great mix of Irv Smith, finally got his...
They did it the right way, yeah.
Yeah, Irv Smith got his first touchdown.
Drew Sample as like the kind of like the fullback / blocker
Drew
out of the
Sample
backfield.
Getting a touchdown.
Yeah, not just like a little dump-off touchdown. Like, he took it. Like, he made the play.
Yeah, he made it,
he made the play.
It was a dump-off for Burrow, just trying to get it out of his hands right there. And then
he gave him a lot of credit on the sideline in the mic'd up, because I know you guys just watched it in the mic'd up. He's like, good effing play, Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe Drew Sample.
Me either. I was like,
oh, Drew Sample got the ball. We're going to pick up a first down because there's nobody in front of him. The next thing you know, he put the little move on the defender. Next thing you know, he's in the end zone. Like, Eric's face was like, what?
Drew Sample's an amazing blocker, but seeing him touch the ball as like
good receiving threat.
A big man touch the ball, it's just it's fun to see. Just never thought he scored a touchdown.
It's different to see from this team.
Yeah. I would say another thing would be like just our fast start. It was cool to see. Like, we don't usually
That's
get
how
out.
it looked when we played Buffalo the first time before the Damar Hamlin incident. But
no, I never got to my favorite moment.
Oh, I thought my bad. Go ahead.
Probably be that Drew Sample touchdown.
I thought that's what you meant by saying Drew Sample.
There's so many good moments, like Joe Burrow when he was on the ground. He's like, first down.
Yeah, that's a first down.
I was going to put that as my favorite moment.
And you also had the Bengals' 400th
franchise win.
Franchise win.
Joe Burrow passing Carson Palmer for most 300-yard games.
And passing Jeff Blake for most touchdowns in a Bengals career.
All very historical stuff that night, which was nice to see. Yeah, my favorite moment, I was going to say the Burrow point just because that was pretty iconic. But their Smith touchdown was really nice. That was a perfectly thrown ball by Burrow.
I'm just happy to see him
involved.
do something involved, do good. I want to see him succeed.
And I hate to get into the negatives of that game, but we missed out on a lot of points.
Yeah, a lot of points on the table.
We left a lot of points. Cam Taylor-Britt got a pick, put us almost inside the red zone.
Bunch of penalties.
Failed to convert. Backed us up. We had the punt.
Yeah, because then we were going out for like the 55-yarder, and then we got a false start. And then,
yep.
I mean,
then you guys say Evan wanted to stay on the field.
Evan wanted it. He was sitting. He's staying out there for a while.
Evan a chance for that one.
I understand.
It would have been a 60-something yard. He could make it.
I think it was 60 because it was like a 55.
I understand why they wouldn't do it.
No, just
you don't
field position.
Field position battle.
Yeah, you miss it,
and Robbins was.
It hurts.
Robbins was money.
Yeah, but that next possession was that the Kincaid fumble.
I think so.
I think it was.
Yeah,
it might have been.
Because they were driving.
I think we also failed to get points on that drive also.
Yeah. It was like back-to-back fourth turnover on downs drives because we went for it on fourth down. That time.
Well, Buffalo punted, and then we went down, didn't do anything. We had to punt, and then Josh Allen threw a pick.
Yep.
And then we ended up punting again. So it's just missed opportunities and points. We left a lot of points out there. It could have been way worse for Buffalo.
Also, being on the 2 and deciding not to go for it.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have gone for it. If you don't get it, they're down at the 2.
Yeah, my least favorite play call from the game was later in the game. Was 4th and 5, and Zach Taylor kept the offense out there.
Yeah, that one was. I was like, oh.
Yeah, then we don't even.
I'm like, it was 4th and 2 earlier in the game, and you didn't go for it. Yep. But now it's a 4th and a long 5. It wasn't even a short 5. It was 4th and 5 and a half.
That was the Drew Sample dump off, and he got 3 yards on it.
It was 4th and 5 and a half, and it showed. Yeah. Bills played a great defense right there on it. I just wish we would have punted, pinned Buffalo down with inside the 10. Hopefully, Brad Robbins makes that punt. I mean, the Bills weren't moving the ball on us.
No.
So it's just like a couple. That was the only gripe I had. The only real gripe I had with play calling and stuff like that. Other than that, great performance from everyone. Coaching wise,
I think the O-line had a good performance too.
They did blocking wise, but Kappa screwed us over on those missed opportunities with the holding. Yeah. Well, I can't even say the holding. He just overpowered the defender, and the defender threw his hands up.
Yeah. That was a weak call.
That was a very weak call. The fault, and then there was he false start. It was third and something. False start, and then Orlando Brown false start on the field goal. So, I mean, you can't have those penalties. That's how you lose points.
But I think Kappa definitely played, besides the penalties, pretty good.
Yeah, I think Kappa was the worst graded lineman this week from Parker.
Did you see his opening on Sunday Night Football, what he said? Forgot where he went to college. We don't have a football program anymore.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, they don't have a football program, so he didn't want to say his team, so he said whatever they call their workout room, their workout routine. They call it's it's lumberjack something, I think.
Oh yeah.
They don't have a football program anymore.
They got rid of it.
That's horrible. That sucks.
That does suck.
It does suck. He's like, I'm not gonna say that.
You don't even have an alma mater anymore. It's just
they just said the workout.
That sucks. That actually sucks.
Especially for a player like him, all pro guard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He went to a really small school.
Yeah.
No football team.
You think the Bills bounce back?
5-4 Bills.
Dude, they got.
They might not even win the division.
They played the Broncos.
They're not in the playoffs right now.
The problem with the Bills, I like the Bills personally. I like Josh Allen, and I like what they can have, but they just.
So they need a better.
They have what?
So they got Broncos this week at home. Then they got Jets at home.
Their schedule's
then they go to Philly. Then they go to Kansas City. Then the Cowboys come to town.
Yeah,
that's a
tough
schedule.
That's a tough schedule.
Then they go to Chargers.
I guess. If we just want to look at all the way, then they go to Chargers. Then the Patriots come to town. Never an easy game. And then they go to Miami.
We can tell it's not an easy game for them.
On paper,
they already have 4 losses.
The defenses they're playing are top 15.
So obviously they might not.
I saw some Bills guy on Twitter.
Because you got to think if they have. AFC North is going to start playing each other, so we're going to start losing some games. Those teams are going to start falling in and out of it. But Bills lose 3 more games, it gets dicey. Like,
especially with like the Dolphins in that division. But the Dolphins have yet to solidify that win, but we'll get to that a little later.
Yeah, I kind of was curious what your thoughts. I mean, Bills, you used to thinking like Josh Allen, a really, really good regular season team.
Like a postseason lock, which obviously they still can make the postseason, but it's like they're 5-4. Like
9 games in.
I don't think they build their team.
They need a better second weapon, like receiver. Like Kincaid was a good pick, but you need Gabe Davis.
Kincaid's a great pick, but Gabe Davis he causes zero separation.
He's so off and on. I feel like he's either dropping 80+ yards or he's doing nothing.
Well, he does nothing when I bet on him.
He's just a big player.
They need to just unleash Josh Allen's run game. I mean, I know it's like you don't want to do it for his longevity, but you're at that point in the season now where you got to start winning games.
I mean, Josh Allen came into this game with a right shoulder injury,
and he's banged up. Yeah,
and if you watch some of his runs, he does a great job of protecting it by falling on his left side. And I don't think it was hurting his throwing, but I mean that plays a factor for the rest of their season. For his running ability.
Yeah,
if he gets hit, he got lucky against us. He went down. Josh Allen played a really good game.
No, he did.
And I'll say, I said it last week on the podcast that the way to beat Buffalo was just getting an interception off Josh Allen, which we did. We didn't get any points off of it, but we still took the time of possession away.
Win the turnover battle.
Yeah, I knew going in we were going to do. When the Buffalo Bills, they just turn the ball over way too often. That's Josh Allen's 5 straight games with a pick now.
Yep. It's just how he plays.
It's how, but
he's very far best.
But again, you can't blame that interception on Josh Allen.
Cam Taylor-Britt kind of had him on it.
So they were playing, I think it was a basic cover 2. Cam Taylor-Britt was supposed to get the flat. Cam Taylor-Britt, former quarterback, knew what Josh Allen was going to do, so he bailed out of that flat and picked it off.
Yeah, it's got to be hard as an NFL quarterback when you're throwing to routes too. It's like you kind of throw it and then you're like, well, crap.
Yeah,
because they see it. Obviously, they see it playing out, and while the ball's in the air, he's like.
And our cornerback room is so underrated.
Yeah, with young and athletic.
Cam Taylor-Britt and DJ Turner. Jesus Christ.
DJ Turner gave up. Is his only touchdown he's given up this year to Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, top 5 receiver in the league.
Yeah, I don't blame him on that, but he's been playing.
That was a great thrown ball.
Yeah, it was a great route by Diggs too. And Diggs is an All-Pro.
Oh yeah.
He's top 5 route running, definitely.
That's the reason they might want to get it together the most and do something. Diggs is going to be complaining even more this offseason and be like, I want out, unless he's on a contract, but I don't think he is.
I thought they just signed him not too long ago.
He might be griping all offseason again.
And I know he said something going in the halftime like, I'm not even effing sweating. Like, mad because he's not getting the ball.
I saw that. I was like, really?
Yeah, because he had 2 targets going in the halftime, which is sad. If you're a Bills fan, you're like...
And you're losing.
You're like, get Diggs the ball.
Yeah, because the one big play was because DJ Turner, flung him forward.
It's different with us.
Yeah, that's
we have...
That was the first drive. That kept that going.
Yeah. As Bengals fans, we never really had to experience a long drought of just having just one solid number one. Like we had AJ Green, but Marvin Jones, Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah.
Eifert. We had fun pass catchers.
We've always had multiple guys to throw to, whereas the Bills, they only have Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
And I know Bills fans don't look at Gabe Davis as a true number 2.
No, I don't either. That's what I'm saying. They need to get better number 2.
Yeah.
Davis is a good 3.
Definitely a good 3.
I don't think he's a great
and he can be a 2 on some days. It's just when you're trying to be a playoff push team,
yeah.
They're not just trying to be a playoff push; they're trying to be a contender.
And if you watch,
but
you watch that Bengals game.
I'm just saying right now,
and you gotta their defensive room is. They're
just banged up.
That's the problem is that they're banged up, but their defensive line, Von Miller's not Von Miller anymore.
Going back to what I was gonna say, some Bills fan on Twitter, he was talking about it. I think it's his GM. He doesn't really like. He blames him for quite a bit. He's he's just not building that good of a team.
Bean?
Yeah, him.
Brandon Bean.
Yeah, it's him. And then they talked about Von Miller because after the Bengals game, he's apparently on the sideline, he says he's the best I felt since coming back. And it's he says that every week, but he doesn't do anything. And they paid him so much money. Was it
6 years?
6 years?
$220 million.
It was a lot of money.
He got paid a ton of money.
I watched a TV copy last night of the game at 3 in the morning. I don't know why it was on, but I was like, all right, I'm just going to watch it. And Joe Mixon broke a tackle off Von Miller, and Chris Collinsworth is like, that you just don't see that from Von Miller.
It was to win the game.
To
close the game out.
Yeah.
Von Miller broke through the line,
Yeah,
and
he missed
Mason
him,
juked him.
and they're like, "That's not a tackle Von Miller misses."
It's sad to
And
see
they
Von
just
Miller
paid him,
just
like you're saying.
start declining a bit. I mean, maybe he can bounce back, but
And like I've said personally, like I like the Bills, I like their team, but the friendship is over.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're no longer
We're separating ourselves. Like
we're not the same Andy Dalton led team that got you guys into the playoffs.
Yeah,
you know what
we're
I mean?
not like a little brother
we're
esque
competitors
friend.
now.
We are true competitors.
Yeah,
It is feisty. It will be ugly wins, ugly losses. You know what I mean? That's how it's going to be.
A lot of future playoff matchups.
That's just how it's going to be from here on out with Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, with that, with these quarterbacks. That's just how it's going to be going forward. So Bills fans better get used to it. They can't sit there and, talk trash to us anymore like how they were these last few weeks. And the Bills
defense is hurt.
And
At least it didn't
and the
snow.
Bills players coming up with excuses like, "Oh, well, it was snowing."
I say at least it didn't snow.
Well, what's your excuse now? Like
Jungle was striped.
yeah,
Jungle.
Jungle was distracting them.
Like, wow, this looks pretty cool. I wish we could do this.
It was definitely I love playing these kind of games, playoff atmosphere games in the regular season,
Yeah,
because it shows what your
Yep.
it shows what your team really is,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's a problem for the Bills right now. Is that they struggled last week with the Buccaneers.
They just lost to the Patriots before that.
Yeah, so it's a tough stretch for them.
It's kind of like Miami. They haven't beat a single team that has a winning record.
We'll get to that.
My bad.
We'll get to that.
That is the Week 9 recap. My bad.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I'm trying to stick on this Bills game a little bit longer because it was an amazing game.
I mean, we can talk about T. Higgins having
T. Higgins finally with his
a
breakout
reintroduction
game.
Buck 10.
Yeah,
I'd love to see
his hands.
Dude,
I
the
love it
hands
when he catches it and just holds it
He
out.
just holds it out.
As the
Throws
guys
it with one
pushing
hand.
him out of
That's how
like,
he's confident in his hand ability. It's awesome to see.
oh, yeah.
And then what was it? It's where game plan. Dan Orlovsky, I watched his breakdown today. Our game plan was through Jamar, not with Jamar, through Jamar. They, if they were going to double Jamar, we were going to hit tight ends or going to hit Boyd or Higgins.
anyone not named Jamar.
Anyone not named Jamar. And then Higgins had a big day. Jamar obviously only had 41 yards.
Needed me 9 more.
only need 9 more.
But, I mean, he was getting doubled.
Most of the game, yeah.
Like, they always had a safety up top over him. And
But Jamar did something uncharacteristic. He dropped a touchdown pass. First drive. Or second. Was it first drive? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he went in the...
No, second drive.
Coming
Second
across,
drive.
coming
Second
across
drive.
the middle, like, sideline of the end zone.
Second drive, coming across. I told Eric what they were running before what even happened. I said, all right, Jamar's in the slot. Higgins is outside. Higgins is going to go in, run inside the numbers. Jamar's going to run outside the numbers, sideline throw. Exactly what happened. Jamar dropped it. And they showed. I watched the camera angle last night because I didn't see it during the game. But last night, Jamar dropped it.
Yeah.
Wasn't knocked out, nothing. It was hit his hands perfectly. He just couldn't come down with it. Which I really would have loved to see him grab that camera like he said he was going to do.
I told you the whole game, like, he's got to score, especially down on our side. So I want to see him get behind that camera.
Yeah, we're
That's
near the river end zone with 106, so I was like, their first drive, they went down that way. I was like, okay. They elected to take the ball. I was like, they're going to get Jamar a touchdown. Couldn't get it, but
Irv Smith.
I said they're going to get
No, I know.
It was ended up being Irv Smith, who I joked around with having it as a touchdown scorer, but didn't get. But
We should have took the signs.
should have. I really should.
Should've
It was
put
like
I wonder
like
what the
plus
first
6
touchdown score was too on him.
anytime touchdown. He was plus 600
Oh, then he was probably like
That's
plus
probably
like two.
crazy.
Plus
for first touchdown. Yeah, probably.
Probably plus like 2,000.
yeah, something crazy like that.
But I mean, that's all I really got for with that win. It was our first
Felt
AFC
good.
win.
Yeah,
felt
First
good.
AFC win.
Back officially in the playoffs.
Yep.
Puts us and the rest of the AFC North in the playoff race.
No Bills in the playoffs.
Hey, we just keep winning. That's
Bills-
all we can do.
Nick Wright talked about it. He said even if they extended the playoffs to 8 teams, the
They
Bills
wouldn't be
still
in
wouldn't be in it right
Yeah,
now.
they're the 9th seed.
So they got some catching up to do, which
The AFC
Josh
is
Allen
just
can
tight
do
right
it.
now.
It's just
Like,
I don't know if the Bills team can do it.
they have
we're getting to that late stretch where it's like teams break away.
I mean,
Like,
Gary just said who they have to play next, and
Yeah.
there's some rough games in there.
And another problem is that you see like these successful teams, all offensive-minded coaches, head coaches, and then you look at the Bills, they have Sean McDermott, defensive head coach.
If you're going to be a defensive-minded coach, I think you have to kind of like let up on the play calling a little bit.
I think he might. He could be gone.
Doesn't he
after
call
this year.
defense?
He calls
Yeah,
yeah.
he calls the defense.
And Chris Collinsworth said that last night. He's like, Sean McDermott is currently coaching against Zach Taylor because they're calling plays against each other, and he said Zach Taylor is just beating them.
Like they said a lot on the broadcast that the Bills kind of were not. They didn't want to put the blame on the coordinator, but like McDermott and Josh Allen are kind of nonchalantly pushing that blame on them. Like I feel like if you're going to keep McDermott and you're obviously keeping Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
If McDermott's your guy, I think you got to go get your offensive coordinator. That's
who is their offensive coordinator? Ken Dorsey.
Dorsey, yeah.
Yep. Second year offensive coordinator.
Don't they have Joe Brady?
Yeah, where's Brady? Yeah, he went to.
He's like their.
Buffalo.
I think they're like
QB.
he's like their pass coordinator or something like that, passing game coordinator.
That other Bills fan was saying they need to drop Dorsey and get Brady up there.
He's not a bad play caller.
That's everybody's easy out though. Like that's always the first clip.
Oh yeah, it's always.
Yeah,
it's always mine.
Well, because you don't want to make. You're not getting rid of Josh Allen, and McDermott's obviously a good coach. So it's somewhere there's a disconnect. Injuries, obviously, but Diggs only having 2 targets in the first half is not what they want. But
he still had like 40-something.
He bought
yards
out,
off
yeah.
of those two.
You look at the Bills. The reason their defense has never been the reason why they lost. Last Sunday night they lost because they couldn't score.
Yeah.
If they could have scored, they probably would have won. They held us on a lot of drives.
Yeah, they did.
And our defense held them on even more drives.
Yeah, we got lucky. We got out on that hot start.
Yeah, it's just their defense isn't a bad. Their defense is top 10 statistically right now. I'm pretty sure scoring defense. So it's just something needs to change over there in Buffalo if they want to have future success in the playoffs. Also,
it might help when Lenny starts playing for him. Maybe to help get their run game going or something. I like James Cook, but maybe they're going to use him as more this stuff.
Yeah, Buffalo also just hasn't had a running game in years.
Maybe that's why they're bringing Lenny in. They're like, all right, we got to get the run game going. Help Josh out with the play action. That's how you hit Gabe Davis, get that play action going. Otherwise, the man ain't getting separation.
And total defense there. They are 17th. They allow 334 yards per game.
So they're right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, it's at 17. They're right there at the middle. And the Bengals they've really climbed, haven't they? Where are the Bengals at? They're at 27. They were at 30 last time I looked, a couple weeks ago. They're at 27. They allow 364.
Well, what about
Big
points?
Ben don't break.
I can't find the points. I can find total defense, but I can't find
yards. But
we'll say we're Big no break.
Points.
Which we're gonna have to
scoring defense. Here it is. Bills are 5th.
5th. What are we?
25th. No, we should be higher. Should be like 15th. Top 15.
The Bengals are 12th.
Oh, yes, sir.
Top 15.
Us and the Bills have allowed the same amount of touchdowns. But
Nice.
I don't think the Bills have had their bye yet.
They haven't.
Yeah. So
It's like week 13.
So that obviously skews the numbers a little bit.
Hopefully that defense shows up this week.
They also got the average.
Yeah.
We average allowing 20.3 per game. Bills average allowing 17.8.
Which honestly I'll take. If we can hold opponents to 20, our offense should be scoring more than that.
Yeah. And then moving on to this week, the Texans are ranked 14th. They allow 20.6, so they're right there with us. They've allowed 17 touchdowns as well. And they've had their bye, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I do not know.
I'm pretty sure they have, but if not, same with us.
Our defense isn't the Bucs' defense.
That's a good point.
I think we only allow
Buccaneers have allowed 17 touchdowns. They average allowing 20.9 per game.
Yeah, I just think we have better playmakers, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, Houston had their bye week, same with the Bengals.
Okay, so our numbers are exact.
I just hope Stroud doesn't drop another 470 and 5 touchdowns.
He's facing a better defense for sure, but I don't think it's crazy to say Stroud could be top 10 as of now.
No,
Stroud's 100% top 10.
I like that. Yeah. No,
If you guys watch the Pick Aside pod, I watched their newest episode, and they got into it about, C.J. Stroud, and they named off the quarterbacks they would take over Stroud right now, and I want to do the same thing. Like I'll take Lawrence, Allen, Burrow, Mahomes,
Hurts.
Dobbs.
Did you already say Hurts?
Hurts,
Lamar.
I'm taking Lamar.
I'm taking Lamar.
There's 6 right now. There's 6 right there. There's 6 that you guys helped me name for my list.
You taking Herbert? Did you say Herbert?
I'm taking Herbert.
I'm taking Herbert.
It's like
take Herbert.
Herbert and Stroud are equal for me right now. Herbert's having kind of a weird year.
No, I don't think that's a hot take just because, dude, Stroud's numbers are insanely impressive.
It's
not
not
even
so much
for a rookie.
It's not so much of Herbert, being bad or anything.
Yeah.
It's just that Stroud's numbers are crazy right now.
I think this is a big test game for him. They're kind of rolling hot. Comeback win. They're riding high. They have 4 or 5 wins?
4.
I think they're 4 and 5.
I just had it pulled up.
Me too.
But watching CJ,
4 and 4. They're 4 and 4.
watching CJ Stroud is not. I love watching him.
And D'Amico Ryan's got him hyped up and ready to roll. So a 4 and 4 Texan team, young, rolling off a big win. It's not going to be an easy win by any means.
He's the biggest threat coming into this game for us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Without a doubt, biggest threat. Their defense doesn't scare me. Their running game doesn't scare me. CJ Stroud, he scares me.
Now, it will be a lot of next man up for them.
I mean, considering their injury report, we'll see how the defense and offense looks.
Yeah, their injury report's crazy.
I didn't count how many there was, but there's...
That sucks,
it's quite
too.
a bit.
I mean, it does suck.
Yeah, it does.
As a fan, just as a human, you don't want to see that many people hurt, A. And B, as a football fan, you want to see the best product. That sucks. That sucks.
Who's their 3 receivers? It's Tank, Nico, and who?
Let's see.
I don't know who the third receiver.
It's Nico, Robert Woods.
Yeah, Robert Woods.
And Mechie.
Oh, John Mechie.
Yeah, and Dalton Schultz had a 100-yard game last week as well.
Probably,
He's been.
If you have Dalton Schultz in fantasy, he'll probably go off this one.
Yeah.
I usually say tight ends and running backs against us because a lot of teams it seems do dump offs. Our
is it crazy to say that Stroud was a steal at 2?
No. Frank Reich is crying.
I'll tell you, there's one team that's crying right now.
It's early, and I'm not saying Bryce Young's a bust by any means, but
let's take a break for real quick. Let's get into the Bengals playmakers this week, and then we'll hop right into that because I would have an extensive conversation about that. So real quick about the Bengals this week, Chase is a possibility to be out with back injury. It's a possibility. I think it's more soreness.
I think
than injury.
He doesn't really need to practice till don't you have to practice one day or something, or do you not have to practice at all?
He showed up today. I don't know how it works.
I don't think you have to practice.
I don't think you have to practice.
Okay,
I think it's just
I feel if he didn't have to practice,
you just got to list
play.
them
Yeah.
if they're what he's
He showed up. He was there today getting treatment.
They didn't list somebody. There was somebody last week, 2 weeks. Remember they didn't list. It was Bijan. I was mad. Remember he was sick.
Yeah,
I listed on the
I think you just play
T. Higgins got hurt at practice today, hamstring. Don't know the extent of it, but I'm sure he'll be fine.
Might be Irwin Yoshi time.
Charlie Jones is back this week.
Oh,
we activated him.
That's big.
Can I just talk about how much I do not watch Trent Irwin return punts?
He is a very stiff runner.
Yeah, he scares me for some reason.
Very stiff.
Me and Jordan, when he took back one of the punts, he tried to take the edge.
We both saw it at the same time where it looked like he was about to try to do, and then he quickly realized, I ain't built for this.
He's like, I got
my
no
thing
speed.
is
I'm cutting up the middle.
It's not even a knock on him because it's not like he's super slow, but we don't have anybody better to return punts.
I think it's just more sure-handed. And
that's the thing. I think that's what it is. Is just making sure we should just secure the ball.
I mean, Darius Phillips is really quick.
Well, I get it, but we
lost us that 49ers game a few years ago.
That was funny.
He had 1 year where he had 5 picks.
We have a punt return though this year.
Yeah, Charlie Jones.
He's been on IR.
That's why I said I don't like watching Irwin do it.
Yeah, I guess
that's why I brought it up when he said Jones is coming back. I said, thank God.
But after that,
I can't wait for him to
after Irwin, I think it's Boyd.
It should have been Boyd.
I trust Boyd.
I trust
don't want
Boyd.
him to get hurt out
I
there.
don't want Boyd.
I don't want him taking back a 5-yard punt.
Calls a fair catch every time.
Yeah.
We need a Pac-Man come out of retirement, return punts for us.
Well, that'd be funny.
That's great. Okay, that was a quick little Bengals recap. Let's get into the Week 9 recap. I want to talk extensively about the Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud situation.
I was ready for this.
I feel like the Panthers are already regretting it.
And they don't even have their pick, man. Like it's
They
not even
don't.
like
They don't have
it's
any
not
first
even
round
like-
picks this year. Nothing.
It's not even like if man, we sucked this year, but man, we go 2-15.
And it's also
we're getting Caleb Williams.
I
Nope.
don't think Bryce Young was a fit for them in the first place. He is a small built quarterback behind a horrendous offensive line. C.J. Stroud is a bigger quarterback. He can take those bigger hits.
Well, and like Bryce Young in Alabama, a lot of quick outs, a lot of speed receivers, a lot of running the ball.
Real good O-line.
Carolina,
Yeah.
Carolina. I mean, Thielen's a more short-handed like route runner. You know what I mean? Like they have more of like those kind of players, veteran type players that Hayden Hurst. Yeah, they're just not like you said. They're just not built for him. Like
he's probably wanting to be where Tua's at.
yeah, a fast offense. Like
yeah, the best situation for Bryce Young would be an offense like that. So, like, if Bryce Young went to, like, the 49ers would be a perfect
49ers
fit.
in Miami.
Yeah.
the spread, like West Coast style.
Just quick. Getting the ball out quicker.
Like under 3 seconds.
Move a lot.
Definitely
It's
under
just
3
a lot
seconds.
also moving around to
You feel
confuse
like the
defense a little
Panthers-
more to help him a lot.
I feel like the Panthers would have realized this
But
and
and,
decided we got to throw it short.
My-
He's going to
and-
get killed if we have him hold on for longer than 3 seconds.
yeah, you can't draft a project at one when you gave up so much to get him. Like
Yeah, but
You think it's a
I think
project?
we all said it
No,
going
I'm saying, like,
into
that's what they're
going into the
hoping.
draft. I think we all agreed that C.J. Stroud was the most pro-ready quarterback.
Everybody just
Yeah.
got ran off because that test thing.
Bryce Young just
I
the
cannot get a
upside is
test
there.
taking-
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he got like
But Stroud, I mean,
four
he
or whatever
was
it
pro ready. He's got a cannon of an arm. He's big.
And I said it also is that, if Bryce Young wants to succeed in the NFL, he has to put on a lot more muscle than what he currently has.
Yeah.
He is a small frame.
And it's not like he has that like Kyler Murray athletic ability to where like
But you look at Kyler Murray, he's big. Kyler Murray put on muscle weight
yeah, but
so he can sustain these
Bryce
hits.
Young needs it even more because
Yeah.
he's not like Kyler
He
Murray.
needs it.
Jalen
way
Hurts.
more.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts put on a lot of weight because he was a smaller quarterback coming in.
Yeah, and he's a bigger dude. Like Bryce Young's a smaller guy. But
Yeah.
we'll see. It's still early. I mean, it's just obviously when you throw 2 pick sixes, like
He threw 3 picks that game, 2 of them being pick sixes.
I got a shout out Bryce Young and Moore from the Colts. They won me some money.
and more.
Kenny
Yeah.
Moore.
Kenny Moore, he's what a dog.
But like going into that, like with the Bryce Young thing, I think you said like the Dolphins, and that brings me to like Tua. Tua is not a top 10 quarterback to me.
No. He just
You
has
watched that Chiefs
amazing
game last week?
playmakers around him that help make him look good.
He's not. He's just not good.
When you got Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and they can do what they can do.
still
I think-
Go ahead. Yeah, okay, I'll go. I still think arm strength is his biggest weakness. Like people say Burrow doesn't have that good of an arm. I think his arm's good enough. He makes really smart decisions. I also think Tua puts enough like zip on the ball. I feel like I think some of his passes just kind of float.
Well, it's just how the offense is designed. Mike McDaniels has done a really good job of just designing the offense for him to take hole shots. Tua's really accurate. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, he's got the accuracy.
Very
for sure.
accurate quarterback. Just, I think is what hurts him is his arm strength and playmaking ability. Honestly, because a defender gets through,
He turtles.
he automatically just tucks, and he's
Yeah,
down. It's a sack.
We've noticed that by putting some money on him. Every time we need him to get I'll get 25 more yards. He's just
Yeah, that ability
11
to
yard sack.
extend plays.
it's just
And last week, he fumbled the snap on 4th down to lose the game. It was a good snap, just right through his hands. So it's just stuff like that where you're like, if you're a Dolphins fan,
Is
You're-
the moment too much?
you're probably like, oh, Tua's our guy. But going back to the 2020 draft, Tua was the only quarterback I didn't want.
Yeah.
I wanted Justin Herbert. I wanted Joe Burrow. I was fine with Jalen Hurts.
The whole
Tua was a no-go no matter
the
what
whole
for
time,
me.
his dad's
My
telling-
thing was just because of
telling us to
injury.
Get Tua.
I mean, he already had the hip injury,
Yeah.
and and Bama quarterbacks scare me.
That is just experience. I mean, from in college he only had a season.
Yeah, but I mean, he won a national championship.
So did AJ McCarron.
Yeah, but I mean, he took over the job like from Hurts, so like, it was a big deal. I mean, that whole situation was pretty wild.
I was still big on Hurts at that time.
Yeah, he got benched at halftime. Like that's crazy.
That's what I said. Like your dad was the all like.
Oh, he wanted
Bengals
he
gonna
wanted
screw up.
Tua.
They don't take two.
He wanted Tua, and I'm like, what? Did you watch any college football?
Tua is just not the guy.
I've heard some people are saying like, "Oh, you trade back
and you still get
Because
Tua.
Tua's there.
yeah, and you still get Tua, and you get more
Because
draft picks."
people, well, it's like people wanted us to get Chase Young too.
But everyone wanted us to get. It was
Dude,
I feel like
They
you're
would pass
stupid
on
if you
a
don't
quarterback
take
for
Chase
Chase
Young.
Well, a lot of Bengals fans wanted Chase Young just because I imagine most Bengals fans are Ohio State fans.
yeah.
So
So
can you imagine if we did that? Everyone's like, "Dang."
Well,
Look at Joe Burrow
I think
out
it was
there.
also like Burrow's like it was a big 1 year wonder. What if?
I never had that the one hit wonder with Burrow, I mean, just because if we watched the games, me and Eric watched every LSU game, we saw what he had. Sometimes you look at a play and you just say to yourself,
when
he's
you
got
throw
it.
60, when you throw that many touchdowns.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's just, and he's never. And beforehand, you really look at his previous LSU. The previous year was a running team. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Ohio State didn't get the playing time. Who was he battling for starting?
JT Barrett, Haskins.
JT Barrett and Dwayne Haskins were his two competition. He's not going to beat those guys.
And he got hurt. He like broke his hand.
Broke his hand, yeah, starting hand. So I mean, those things you're hard to overcome.
Well, and like I think I've heard him say in like interviews, like transfer portal wasn't there,
Mm-hmm.
so like he kind of just couldn't go wherever he wanted. He kind of had to stay at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And then when he hurt his hand, he was like, I'm kind of gonna test the waters.
I think he almost went to Cincy.
It was
Really?
close.
It was close. I'm happy he didn't.
I think it was down to like LSU, Cincinnati, and another school. I think he said on PMT's podcast.
I think
I
yeah,
just-
he had said like it was in like the last couple of years, or somebody from the Bengals staff had said like Burrow knew like the whole offseason leading up to that he was gonna be the #1 pick already. Like they had pretty much already told him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and
that's wild to think of that.
I loved it. I at the time I hated it where they're like, "Oh, he should pull an Eli Manning and
Yeah.
force his way out. He should, you know."
No
I'm
one
like,
saw the vision.
I was so pissed at that stuff. I'm like, dude, we are not that bad
Yep.
of an organization. Like,
Well,
I
just
get it from the outside. You'd probably look at us and be like, trash. But
He had a brand new head coach. No one knew it at the time, but the front office was changing.
mhm.
Mike Brown kind of, I think, took a step back. So
Yeah.
it all worked out in the end.
You
I think-
got to take those years. You have to. I mean,
I think this was the best situation for Burrow, too, with Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Definitely was. I mean, there's. And I hate to bring it up, but like I don't think Burrow's going to finish his career here. I'm just being honest with that. Like,
Yeah, he will.
you look at Brady, Tampa, Manning, Denver, Montana, Kansas City. I mean, you look. There's
Burrow's
a top 5 quarterback of all time who finished where they started, and that was Dan Marino.
Yeah.
No Super Bowl.
So Burrow writes
Yeah,
his own history.
That's Dan
I will
Marino's
say-
biggest knock.
I will say if it gets to the year like, which obviously I think we do win a Super Bowl. Just putting it out there,
Yeah.
but I could see if he would got to year maybe like 14.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And it's not because I think he's going to want to leave Cincinnati. You know what I mean?
It's just how it happens.
It's just how Joe Montana didn't want to leave San Fran.
They had Vince,
they forced
they
him
had
out.
Young.
They forced him
They
out.
had Steve Young, Tom Brady. He kind of wanted to depart from Bill Belichick.
Well,
I get that.
Yeah,
Manning.
he wanted to stay. Belichick wanted him out, and then they
Yeah.
were like, "We're keeping Belichick."
Yeah, and
Manning had
Manning,
neck
he got
surgery.
cut by the Colts.
He had that neck surgery.
It's
and
not
they
like
just
these.
didn't
It's not
apply.
like these quarterbacks chose to leave.
Yeah,
Besides
it's more of
Brady.
like
Besides Brady,
Business
technically
move.
Brady did.
they're just moving
Brady
in a
could have
different
stayed.
direction. Like
He's
we're
just
not
I thought
willing
here
to
forever. Time
Yeah.
pay
find
you this
something
much
else.
money because we're not going to have the team around you.
And like I look at some like, does Mahomes finish as a Chief in 10 years or maybe 8? I don't know how.
Doesn't he have like part ownership?
No, you're
Oh,
not
no,
allowed
you
to have
can't,
ownership.
But I could see him signing like a 10-year deal.
He already signed a 10-year deal.
And I'm saying like
I could see Mahomes finishing as a Chief. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because of the style of play. But again, you look at these quarterbacks and the longevity of their careers.
But do you think-
eventually they stop playing at a high level, and the team's like, well, we have to move on. at some point. And I think that's just what's going to happen to us. Burrow's going to be damn near Aaron Rodgers' age, Tom Brady's age, and we're going to be like, well,
hopefully
probably the
plays that long.
time.
Hopefully he plays that long.
I'm just hoping Burrow leaves
Obviously,
on his own.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
this year be my last.
Yeah.
One last go around with the Bengals.
well, obviously that's how we all want it. I mean, obviously the Packers fans wanted Aaron Rodgers, Patriots wanted Brady, and
Why are we talking about Burrow leaving, bro?
We're just talking about
extended that, man. We're talking about him leaving.
we're just talking.
no,
he's
I'm
just
saying
talking about down the
I'm
road.
just saying down the road. I'm just saying it's
Talk about when we get down the road. Burrow ain't leaving.
I mean, we all hope not.
yeah. We all hope
I just hope the Bengals win a couple with them, have some fun.
Mhm.
Raiders had fun this weekend.
Yeah,
The Raiders did have some fun.
Thomas DeVito or whatever.
Oh my gosh, you see that Raiders locker room
That's what I'm saying.
after the game?
Smoked it out, bro.
The 1 week I take the Giants and pick them.
And the funniest story I heard this football weekend was how Josh McDaniels got fired.
Yeah,
He's like what's the new head coach's name?
Antonio Pierce.
Pierce. He's like, hey, address the team, hype up our boys. And he's talking about how the Giants days are like, we can beat anybody. We can beat the Patriots. And Josh McDaniels like,
whoa.
don't talk about the Patriots.
Don't ever speak about the Patriots like that.
That other story.
He's going back to Belgium right now, bro.
The other story you told me about McDaniels and Peyton Hillis.
Oh yeah, I heard he traded Peyton Hillis when he was with the Broncos because he thought his wife was attracted to him.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, that's what I read on Twitter. A former Broncos tight end came out and said it.
That's insane.
And then I guess when they got rid of Jay Cutler, Josh McDaniels says, I can turn a high school quarterback into an all-pro. He got fired the next year.
Didn't he have Kyle Orton?
Yeah, he did.
Dude's got to be a top 5 worst coach of all time.
He's on there. He's on there.
He's just gonna go back to the Patriots.
That's what I said.
And they're gonna pay, and the Raiders are gonna pay his salary.
No, me and Eric was talking about this. There was a Redskins coach that was fired 2 games into the preseason of his first year.
Yeah, they were talking about like the shortest stints.
Dude, imagine not even making it to the season.
2 preseason games, like this guy
must be
get him out of
something he
here.
did in the locker room. Obviously,
Must have, because no shot. You don't get.
you don't even get a regular
one
season game. You just get the playoffs, unless they got blown out in the preseason games.
Even then.
Okay,
like really bad.
Technically, the shortest NFL head coaching tenure is Bill Belichick in 2000 with the New York Jets. 1 day.
That doesn't really count.
It's-
I mean,
He signed-
He
you know,
signed. He was the head coach.
it was with the Rams. It was with the Rams. George Allen with the Rams. 2 preseason games.
Why they fire him?
It says Hall of Famer George Allen never had a losing season as an NFL head coach.
Hall of Famer.
During his 12 years, his overall record was 118, 54, and 5. However, his second stint with the Rams in 1978 didn't go over very well. Shockingly, Allen was let go after just 2 underwhelming preseason games by owner Carol Rosenblum in 1978. He was replaced by defensive coordinator Ray Malesvy, who led the Rams to a 12-4 record.
That's tough.
And then you got Pete McCauley in 1978 with the 49ers, 9 games. Lou Holtz, 1976, New York Jets, 13 games. And then a guy who's not that good of a coach, even in college, Lane Kiffin, 2008 with the Raiders, 20 games.
That's insane.
Where was Urban Meyer at? How many games did he didn't finish the season.
Yeah, he finished like.
How many games did he have?
Urban.
Yeah, when did this article come out?
Yeah, he got fired 4
I'm the
games.
I'm the head ball. I'm the head ball coach.
This article's on Pro Football Hall
We
of
were like
Fame.
week 4 against the Jags. That's when we played them, and then he got fired. Like
He kicked McManus.
He kicked their kicker.
Yeah, yeah. That was like week 4 or 5.
Oh, it also didn't put the Falcons guy, Bobby Petrino, who said he wasn't going to leave, and then he ended up leaving.
Yeah, he wrote notes and put it in the players' locker saying, "Sorry guys, I'm leaving."
So yeah.
Hugh
pretty
Jackson's on this list for shortest 10 years with the Raiders. Oh my gosh, no way the NFL website's going to have all these ads.
Urban Meyer coached 13 games.
13.
He went 2-11.
Oh, there it is right there.
What a tenure.
Man, Cincinnati really sent that guy into misery, huh?
They were beating us too.
You know what's the craziest part about the Urban Meyer tenure? Wasn't him kicking a kicker. It's that Tim Tebow was a tight end on that roster.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was
That's
nuts.
insane.
So let's go back to the old Gator days.
Yeah.
That's his boy, man.
So, Jordan, are the Ravens the best team in the NFL? That's what you have.
I did put that, and I'm going to stand by it. I think they are the best team in the NFL right now. They have the number one scoring defense. Their defense is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Todd Monken is calling a great offense with Lamar. And if it wasn't for drop passes in an overtime game, Ravens are undefeated. Now, they only beat us by 3 points with an unhealthy Joe Burrow, so, I mean, it could be different second time around for us, hopefully. But you look at that Ravens team, they just dominate.
That defense is just
They dominate.
so
They
good.
dominated the Lions, who have a really good offense.
They're scary.
Yeah.
But, every year the Ravens pretty much dominate.
Not like this, though.
But when it comes
They
to
don't. They
postseason,
never dominate like this.
Like, usually it's like, obviously,
you know-
the Ravens leading division. They're like 5-3.
And I'll tell you
we're
why
like 4-2.
we've never seen a Ravens team like this. They are a better defense than their 2000 team statistically right now.
Yeah, that defense is scary.
Statistically, they are
Aren't they
better
number
than
one
that
in
2000
Aren't they number one in everything right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yep.
every
The
category.
good thing is Patrick Queen should be a free agent, right? He didn't resign.
I'd say they try to bring him back, though.
I'm pretty sure already came out. He wasn't wanting to stay because he was on the trade block at the trade
Oh,
deadline.
okay.
You know,
So that'd be good for us.
I know they're a division opponent, but I'll sit there. I'll give them their props.
Oh, they're
they're
insanely
playing.
good.
They're playing
the best.
amazing
Yeah,
football
I mean,
right now.
Yeah. I don't think there's anyone better than them.
Well, I didn't know their defense ranked first in like every single category.
Yep. And I say right now, second best is Kansas City.
The only other team I would have.
And I'm about to say something
they're better than
unbelievable
Kansas City.
that you don't hear that often. Kansas City's defense is better than Kansas City's offense.
they just haven't figured out.
I can believe that.
They haven't figured it
Their
out yet.
defense is
They just got to figure out.
it's crazy how good they are.
Their offense just isn't.
Once Mahomes gets it with his receivers, though,
They'll be good.
Like Chiefs are second in scoring defense.
Right around the playoff times when they'll start looking scary again. Their defense will hold them the rest of the season.
Chiefs are
yeah,
16th in
they,
rushing.
They just won him, and Kelsey had 14 yards.
Chiefs are fourth in passing defense. Ravens are second. Browns are first.
We play them, and that's our division.
Overall total defense, Browns are first. Ravens are second. That Browns team, but the Browns have allowed 17 touchdowns. The Ravens have only allowed 10.
The only other team I might take over the Ravens is fully healthy. Obviously, it's fully taken in because they can also be healthy. Is a Niner team, but after the last 3 weeks,
Purdy's just.
that defense could obviously maybe get to.
It's kind of
Purdy
scared me
maybe,
because
but
obviously that
that's
run they
saying
went
they have
on-
Debo back and
Yeah.
then Trent Williams back. So
Yeah.
Trent Williams being out is kind of huge. That
Another thing to help Bryce Young's case a little bit, going back to that, is that the Panthers have allowed 28 touchdowns this year. That's most in the league.
Oh, their defense is horrible.
Like, they've allowed 28. Dolphins have allowed 27. Cardinals have allowed 27. Bears have allowed 28. Colts have allowed 26. Commanders 27. That's the other thing with the Dolphins. If you want to succeed in the playoffs, you got to stop scores.
I mean, we all talked about it last week, and I got caught out because we took them on the pod to get that win. Like, they just still have not
they
got
need
it.
that- Yeah, the statement W.
Like, I mean,
Just beat a winning team.
That's all they have to do. 0-2 against.
Yeah, they've
winning
got
teams.
They're on
0-3
3 now.
Yeah, 0-3. You gotta be.
They can't.
Teams.
It's
I mean,
like-
they put up a really good game against the Eagles.
I mean, Tyreek fumbled, and
Oh, they
they
did.
lateraled and scored.
And it seems like the Eagles this year, they're not playing like how they were last year, where they were just overly dominating teams. It seems like the Eagles are just playing to
I
the
thought
other
Cowboys
teams.
should have won that game. That's why I picked the
Dude,
Cowboys.
it seems like the Cowboys at the end of games, like their clock management, they just
Horrible.
They just don't care.
Well, like,
That's
that's
why
just
they
Mike
had their-
McCarthy era football
Cowboys
right there.
had their
Yeah,
opportunities
yeah.
to win that game.
That's how it
Oh,
was.
100%
in the
they did.
playoffs. when
That's
they were
why I
in
took
the
the.
playoffs.
That's not
How,
why, but I
how
took
short
Cowboys.
was CeeDee Lamb on that last throw? 4 yards?
Yeah,
yards?
4 or 5 yards short.
Yeah. And you look at the touchdowns the Cowboys almost had. They're tied in half an inch away from getting the
Yep.
ball across.
Dak
Dak
stepping out,
stepped
going
it
for
out on the
two.
2-point conversion.
Yep.
Like, I mean, they had their
Higgins did that
chances.
too. Higgins stepped out. He was a centimeter out of bounds. And
That was
That's
for a
a-
touchdown, though.
Cowboys had their chances, though. I mean, that was rough.
I think that could be a good NFC Championship game. If if like it can get to that like
Don't-
bracket.
It ain't getting to that.
Don't count out Derek's boy Josh Dobbs and those Vikings.
What do you
I-
mean it ain't
I'm
getting
telling
to
you.
that?
I
The
still
NFC
think
's weak. It's gonna be them
if
two
it
and the
cut-
Niners.
the
There's nobody else in the
Niners are going to be
playoffs.
in the NFC Championship game.
I wouldn't say that for sure. Both those defenses are scary.
I would say the Cowboys and Eagles
Their defenses are.
and Niners are the 3 teams in the NFC.
100%. Yeah.
Dobbs is going to get Jay Jettas back.
The Cowboys have been this close to beating the Niners the last couple of years. They might get it.
How close were they a couple weeks ago? 3 touchdowns?
Yeah.
They're like three touchdowns away. Didn't Sam Darnold play the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purdy should have
That's
stayed
1
in because they lost 3 in a row after that.
Yeah. It's 1 week.
Purdy, concussion in 2 games.
Uh-huh.
Then he shouldn't play. I mean,
No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. I'm big on that. I'm big on if there's a chance of re-injury, you shouldn't play.
Yeah.
Especially you cannot play around with head injuries at all.
nah.
Head or neck injuries, you gotta sit.
Especially with Brock. I mean, he's so young. Don't want to.
Young guy, small guy.
Yeah, don't want to ruin
Smaller.
your career now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Play it safe.
I was pissed when Tua played against us last year. It's not
Yeah,
because I was
dude.
scared of Tua.
There's no way he should have been on that field.
And then they tried to blame who was it that sacked?
Tupo.
Yeah, Tupo.
They're like, oh yeah, Tupo hit him too hard. But
Yeah,
that's
it's like-
not how
It's
it went.
football.
Well, because he wrapped him up
Yeah,
and he like
I know,
slammed
but
him
it's
back.
like-
Yeah, but Tua like instead of trying to keep his head up, he slammed it.
Before we talk about the new quarterbacks in this league taking over, talk about that Jets and Chargers game.
I mean, the fumble show.
I turned that game off after the first quarter.
Pitch pick.
I watched the first quarter of that game and I turned it off. I put on a movie. I was like,
Chargers-
this is horrible football.
Dude,
Chargers should've
primetime
won by
games
50.
this week sucked. Too.
Yeah, I watched the
Primetime games all year have sucked, really.
Yeah.
Mostly.
for prime, but
Last year
this
they
week
sucked.
for all.
Oh,
of
if I'm Amazon, I'm suing the NFL. Like you were.
They
the
did it to him
games
last year too.
This is the Bears' second week on.
Oh God.
Yeah, this is like 2
This
straight.
is,
games of
isn't this
prime
Carolina's.
games.
Yeah,
this is
with
Carolina's
Carolina's
second
first.
time on Thursday Night Football.
It's like we didn't really want to have a deal with you, Prime, but we know we should.
Well, I mean, next week's a good one.
Which one is it?
Us.
Bengals,
Ravens
Texans.
and Bengals.
Or
Us.
Ravens, Bengals. I don't know.
That's the best Thursday night game so far. That Steelers and Titans game ends up being a
Anytime
lot
we play
better than I thought it would be.
Ravens, I'm
Because of
I'm so worried.
Will
Will
Levis.
I think we're dissing this Thursday night game so much. It's
gonna
going to
be
be an amazing game.
We said that about the Commanders and Bears game, and that ended up being a pretty good game.
Yeah, not for us.
not for us.
Not-
Oh no!
But it was
All
a
of our
heck
bets
a
had
game.
Commanders player
Commanders
props.
money line,
Commanders money line, yeah.
and then the Bears like, oh, I'm
mean,
gonna
the
drop
Ba-
40 real quick.
the Bears, it's a win-win for the Bears because they get the better pick anyway.
I like that. Again, I said it last week. I like that take Tyson Bagent. Whatever. I still can't say his
That's
name.
what I said.
Yeah,
Fields has to prove something. Needs to prove something.
He had a lot of
back.
good throws against that Saints defense.
Maybe you don't draft the quarterback, and the Bears use
And Bagent
2
we
first-round
trust.
picks, all offense.
Marvin.
Receivers, or just receivers, or Brock
Well, they don't
Bowers,
really
like
need
Marvin Harris.
that many receivers.
They got Cole Kmet.
Oh yeah,
They really
Dude.
don't need receivers. They got some good receivers.
They would. Marvin would
yeah.
probably
He's
be.
Marvin.
Oh, well, you have to
DJ
get
Moore.
Marvin. You can't. You'd be dumb to pass up on Marvin.
Even if the Bengals had the first pick right now, you'd be like, "Hey, go Marvin." Marvin's another receiver where you just can't pass.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
some other. I mean,
Nah, for the Bengals,
I don't
probably
want
Brock.
T to leave, but
I'd probably take Brock.
if T
That would be
left,
insane,
man,
dude.
if T replaced
Like with the receiving core we have, like
Brock
I'd probably
Bowers?
take
Dude, Brock Bowers beat.
That's what I'm saying. I'd probably
Crazy.
take Brock.
I'd be
Like,
so tough.
Looking at our,
I
like
would
our
have
team
to say
needs.
Brock because like you need tight end.
Yeah.
I
Passing
love
up-
Brock Bowers,
But
dude.
passing
That
up
guy
on
is so
Marvin would be
good.
so stupid.
I bet Brock Bowers 50+ yards a couple weeks ago. The dude got like 100 something. I'm like, why didn't I bet more?
He's hurt now, isn't he?
Yeah,
Sadly.
Yeah.
I think he hurt his shoulder.
Oh, you come into the league hurt, you stay hurt.
I don't think he's coming. I think he's back next
Maybe
week.
we'll get him on a discount.
I don't think
He'll
that's how it
follow us.
works
We'll follow
for
him.
top tier players like
He'll
that.
be just fine.
You hurt
He's
your
hurt.
shoulder
He's
once.
going to be just fine. Now let's get into the new faces that are. You're like, oh, Will Levis
Fully
last week
starter.
against the Steelers. You're like, oh, this guy kind of got it.
I think they're going to start putting it around him. I think so. You
You
keep
can
up
ask,
that
you can ask
consistency.
Aiden about Will Levis Thursday night.
Yeah, Aiden only needed one
One passing touchdown.
Will Levis touchdown for like
I
$300
could have
bucks.
swear he was going to get it towards the end.
Josh Dobbs this weekend with coming back with the Vikings.
My boy Dobbs.
Oh, Josh Dobbs looked good.
That's even more impressive because he didn't practice at all.
He taught his cadence. He taught the center his cadence in like 30 seconds.
Like, that alone's impressive to me. Like that's
they
insane.
get Jay Jett is back not this week but next week. They said Jay Jett isn't going to play this week, but
I mean they're still sniffing around for playoffs.
Yeah,
they're in right now. They're
That's, I mean they're right there
with the dogs.
Yeah,
it's gonna be something.
They're definitely in there, which that's cool for Jay Jett.
I don't
like
know
they
why
need that for him.
Just go for Tannehill though. I'd rather have Tannehill over Dobbs.
Would you though? I mean,
I'd rather have Dobbs over Tannehill.
Dude, I would.
The difference in money.
I just don't like Tannehill that much. I think he's not that.
Tannehill is not.
Tannehill's going. This is Tannehill's last year on his contract.
But I would trust him more than Dobbs. You guys are
for
saying
what? Tannehill?
What do you mean for what? Yeah, just saying this,
Dobbs
and then
sat
once
behind Roethlisberger.
Well, after the Cardinals played the Bengals, he hasn't done anything. That's why he got benched and literally was about to be cut.
Yeah, Tannehill didn't get benched and get replaced for a rookie.
Well, that's just because he was hurt, and then Will Levis played good, and they're like, maybe we should play because he would have came back the starter.
Then he
if
wasn't.
Will Levis didn't look good, he would have came back the starter.
So obviously he wasn't good enough to start over Will Levis.
I mean, he probably is, but they know what they want, and they just want to look to the future now because they suck.
Right.
They're not good.
So if the Vikings aren't trying to, figure it out.
So it's just moving on from like an aged veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cardinals are tanking though. That's Josh Dobbs' thing. It's not because he sucked.
No,
that's true.
It's because he didn't suck enough.
Josh Dobbs puts your team in a better position than Tannehill right now.
Yeah, I'll say it.
I'd say we tweet out a poll later on and we'll ask.
Nobody's going to vote Ryan Tannehill. We are a Bengals. We are a Bengals Twitter page, and I will guarantee nobody's taking Ryan Tannehill.
Let me clip this. This is the clown. Put the clown nose on.
I had to go some clip-worthy stuff. Sometimes other people have to take the wrong side. No, but I really do.
You just admitted you're on the wrong side. Thank you.
I don't care, but I'm still taking Tannehill over Dobbs.
How are you taking Tannehill?
I just am more proven.
For what?
What? Proven what?
You want him to get into the playoffs? Dobbs ain't getting you in the playoffs.
How do you know? He's never had a full shot.
He's cooking right now.
Okay,
Dobbs
look.
is cooking.
I'm not saying he's going to win them Super Bowl. Tannehill wouldn't either. I'm not saying that Dobbs would even make them to the playoffs, but he's gonna be energetic, and he's gonna win football games.
Tannehill would be energetic with the new change of scenery.
No. Oh my God!
Jay Jett is the receiver. I'm like,
there's
oh my God.
No way.
This guy.
Tannehill can't throw a
This might turn into our most heated debate on
Tannehill
here.
versus Dobbs.
I was waiting for him to see it. I was gonna press A.
There's no way. Pull it right, dude.
No, I'm looking at Dobbs stats first.
I'll pull up Tannehill stats.
What's the point? What are the point of stats? Stats ruin the NFL.
Like 1,600 yards and like 6
wow. Like 3 games over 200 passing yards for Dobbs.
I don't
that
care.
ain't gonna do anything for you guys.
Tannehill only has 2.
Name me 2. Name me 2 Cardinal receivers.
What?
2 Cardinals receivers. Not named Marquise Brown.
I was about to say Hollywood.
Not named Marquise Brown.
Wait, hold on.
Rondale Moore.
I want you to say.
Would they be wide receiver ones on any other team?
Would they be wide receiver 3s on any other team?
Rondale would. Yes.
Hollywood.
On what team?
Rondale's not that bad.
No, I'm just saying you're saying trying to diss him, but
and then they have that rookie.
Nate, look at DeAndre Hopkins when he had Will Levis. 3 touchdowns. Over 100 yards.
Wait till Dobbs gets JJ.
I will.
Colton, I want you to read off Dobbs' stats right now.
Well,
I'll read off Tannehill's.
All right.
I want you to read off his stats.
All right. Are we going like week by week?
How many?
No.
How many
just total.
I was going to go yards, touchdowns, interceptions.
Total.
Yeah.
All right. So his completion percentage is 62.8.
Okay.
What's Tannehill's?
62.
Okay. 1,569 passing yards.
1,128 passing yards.
2 for Dobbs.
Okay. We'll have to talk about how many games at the end because Tannehill's missed games.
That's cool.
8 touchdowns and 5 picks, which I know Tannehill's got
2 touchdowns, 6
Woo!
6 picks.
6 picks.
I'm going to talk about games
6
played.
picks on a run first team.
How many? 6
picks on a run first team.
How many games played? This man's
4.
This man's chirping. He's got 6 picks.
Let's see. 10.
How many does Dobbs have?
5. And he's played in every game except he played in.
Hey, he didn't throw a pick until he played us.
Played 9.
5.
6 picks in 5 games. That's the guy you want leading that team, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What defense was it against?
Chargers, Cleveland, Bengals, Indy, Baltimore.
They're picking
Bengals and Cleveland.
against the Chargers.
Tough, All right, so let's see if he plays any. Let's see the NFC opponents he might have to play. 2 tutties, no picks against the
Hey,
Niners.
didn't Dobbs beat the 49ers?
Yeah, that's what I just read.
And the Niners.
No, Kirk Cousins was the quarterback for the Vikings for that game. Never mind.
Cardinals.
Ooh,
Did they beat the?
what was Dobbs' QBR?
Cardinals beat the Browns
Rating.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cardinals beat the Browns.
81.
with Dobbs.
34.1.
No, they didn't.
Nice.
Who'd the Cardinals beat?
No, the Cardinals just played the Browns with Clayton Toon.
Yeah, you're right.
And they had like 56 total yards of offense.
Oh, that was
they
ugly.
lost
I
like 30 to
couldn't watch
nothing,
that.
24, 27 nothing. Cardinals didn't even score. 27 nothing.
Carson Wentz is back in the league. If anyone wants to talk about that.
Yeah, he's back signed with the Rams. I saw that and I said, what? But I guess it's better than starting Brett Rippon every week.
Cardinals beat the Cowboys. That's it.
Oh, Cardinals beat the Cowboys. You're telling me Josh Dobbs beat the Cowboys?
Joshua Dobbs beating the Cowboys.
That offense didn't win that game. Actually, he went off. I guess that. Remember we bet the Cowboys and we were like,
Oh, Will Levis, by the way, has 4 touchdowns, 1 pick.
he threw 3 of those, like all those in one game.
500 yards.
Yeah.
He threw
He threw
4
all
touchdowns
4 of them in
against
one game.
the Falcons.
So we'll see
Tannehill
how
did
Levis
it.
looks the rest of the year.
He
We'll compare the Dobbs versus Tannehill for the rest of the can't.
okay. So what? Okay, you're a GM. You're an NFL GM.
Well,
You're not. I'm telling you, you're the 33rd team. Ryan Tannehill is coming up on free agency. What are you doing?
what?
You re-signing them?
No, because
No.
he's old. I was saying from the Vikings' perspective, like if there's the rental for like.
Out of any, I'm
rest
just
of the
saying,
year.
I'm taking a shot for Jameis.
That's what I'm saying. I would have rather than with Jameis then Tannehill then Dobbs.
Jameis should have been their first pick.
I would have went Jameis first. If I couldn't get Jameis, I would have went for Dobbs, and then if I couldn't get Dobbs, I would have went for Wentz, and then Tannehill.
Wentz hasn't even played. You haven't even looked at Wentz.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Wentz ain't worse than Tannehill.
I've seen enough of Ryan Tannehill
Wentz is not-
football.
or Tannehill's not worse than Wentz.
I just don't like watching the dude play football.
Me either.
Ryan
I mean,
Tannehill is a game manager
happy
and
when
a
we-
poor one at that.
He could be good enough game manager for Kevin O'Connell.
He's a poor man's Andy Dalton.
He could be good enough for Kevin
I
O'Connell.
would rather have Andy Dalton than Ryan Tannehill
Yeah, me
That's
too.
not even a hot take. That's not.
for
me
a
too.
lot less money.
Oh, earlier I was gonna say like when we were talking about Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, when he hears that Bryce Young is going to be drafted by the Panthers, it's the Kevin James meme. Because he knows he gets to come in and play a lot more. If they would take strategy,
Andy Dalton is like the ultimate backup. Dude is like
he's trying to play for every team.
I hope he comes back to the Bengals.
Why?
We could use a good backup.
We could use a good backup, and it would just be awesome just for him
I mean,
to be there.
it'd probably be hard though.
Yeah,
Like being
it's
the
right.
guy there and then come back into the backup.
Unconditional love.
Oh, yeah.
That's all he has here is unconditional love.
Better than being the backup in Carolina.
Is it? It's warm. Like,
Okay, he's got a really good point.
you're by the
Okay.
beach.
It's like, I'm going to go practice.
I mean,
We
he's
get,
literally like
64
45 minutes from the
outside.
beach. Like,
Doesn't have to walk across the street to practice. And
nah.
we have an indoor facility now. It's a
Yeah.
bubble.
Yeah.
We have an indoor bubble.
It's very nice.
when's ours supposed to be done?
I don't know.
I feel like I haven't heard anything on it.
At the end of Joe Burrow's.
It's like
contract.
yeah, it's like we announced it, and it's like I haven't.
Well, I mean, they already have like the bubble up. But I know they're taking down that one thing.
We play old school football by not spending money.
Or trading.
We're
any
gritty.
draft picks.
we gritty. Yeah, it's a horrible joke. Let's get into our Week 10 games of the week before Colton goes on another Ryan Tannehill.
Man loves
stint.
Ryan Tannehill.
Never seen a Ryan Tannehill fan in my
I just respect
life.
the veterans. Like,
In my life. Hey,
Dobbs, the veteran.
okay. Shout out to Ryan Tannehill. Well, shout out to Zach Taylor for making Ryan Tannehill an MVP candidate like 18 years ago.
I think if you got him with like Kevin O'Connell, like he's done in Tennessee.
We ain't going to get back into it.
If you got
What's
him
your game
with
of the
Kevin
week?
O'Connell.
My game of the week, 49ers at Jaguars. I picked that because I feel like the 49ers need to get their groove back. And the Jaguars are a hot team to do it against. I'm going to take the 49ers. I don't see them dropping
Give me
4 in a
Niners.
row off the bye.
Dude, I love this game though. Like I think it's
49ers and
yeah.
Jag. It's a good game.
It's
Like
going to be a good one.
it should be a banger. I mean, I'm taking the Niners. Like you said, I don't think they lose 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Like, there's just,
especially coming off their bye week.
Yeah.
They just got Chase Young.
49ers
Ooh-wee.
is what I said.
Is this a 1:00 game?
Yes,
Yeah,
they're
it's
in
in-
Jacksonville. Yeah,
My game of the week is the Lions at the Chargers.
sounds like a good one.
I think
Two
it's going to be a
offenses.
shootout.
Yeah.
The Chargers defense is not good. The Lions defense is hit or miss. It was good early on, but it seemed they got blown out by the Ravens. They just had their games, and this could be one of those games. The Chargers need kind of a much needed win. They're like 4-4, and they're trying to make a statement, trying to prove that they're going to be a playoff team in the AFC. And then the Lions, can they win against I want to say good team, but the Chargers have been like an iffy team this year.
Yeah,
but
but
like a
I
good
agree.
team
I think
on the road.
it's a big win for them. Like a team that's kind of been
Like-
on a fringe playoff team the last couple of years. Like
Exactly.
Lions need those kind of wins.
Like they
Mhm.
got smacked by the Ravens.
Yeah,
You
especially
kinda
after
just
getting
need,
smacked by them.
Are we making live picks for all these games?
I did just so we.
Who'd you take?
I took the Niners on the last one. On this one, I'm taking the Lions.
I'm taking the Lions.
I'll take the Lions.
I'm gonna take the Lions.
Ooh.
Who'd you take for mine?
We all took the Niners.
We all took the Niners.
Dang.
He's gonna take the Jags. You got
I'm
to
gonna
catch up.
take the Jags.
Okay.
All right,
Man,
lone
yeah,
wolf.
Hey, he's behind on pick 'em.
Yeah,
He
that's
needs
it.
he needs to switch it
That
up.
lone wolf. All right, so my game of the week: two division opponents. Hopefully, it ends in a tie. But Browns at Ravens.
No, we want Browns winning this one.
I do want the Browns winning this one, but I'm taking the Ravens.
Me too.
Best
I'll
two,
take the Ravens.
The best two defenses in football. Lamar's looking. I'm taking that quarterback over the Browns quarterback.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think it's
I
what
think
it comes
that's
down
the
to.
big thing
Yeah.
too. It's like with two very well matched up defenses, is who's going to be the better quarterback. And I trust Lamar a lot more than I trust Deshaun right now.
Yeah,
That's why I'm gonna take the Ravens. I want to take the Browns so bad.
But it's
It's gonna be
just
the Ravens.
hard to sit there and be like, oh yeah, Deshaun's
He's horrible.
a halfway decent quarterback.
and I mean with the emergence of like Zay Flowers and Odell's kind of getting going, like their pass catchers are finding their groove. So
Yeah.
it's getting kind of scary hours in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Commanders at Seahawks.
I like it.
I think,
This is a sleeper pick.
I think
I think
both
this
these
could be a
teams
shootout.
need to win. Seattle just got waxed by Baltimore.
And the Commanders are a sneaky good
The
team
Commanders
too.
just beat the Patriots, which they lost, I think, three or four straight, and then they beat the Patriots.
I like Sam Howell, and I like that Commanders team.
I didn't know how they were.
I
dogs
love
in that
Sam
game.
Howell.
But I'm going to pick Seattle for the win.
Oh, I'm taking Seattle.
I'm taking Seattle.
I'm gonna take Seattle, but I think.
But I
this-
do like that Commanders team.
I
though.
think this is a really good matchup.
I like your pick too for game of the week.
Well, you guys had like a lot of real good ones, and I'm looking. I'm like,
I was
both these
surprised- no one
teams
took the
have-
Bengals and Texans game.
I thought about it.
We'll collectively put that as our game of the week.
Yeah.
Second Bengals.
Taking the Bengals.
Taking the Bengals
Well-
as well.
I'll take the Bengals.
Well, CJ Stroud just played a really good game.
Yeah, but he doesn't play against Juice.
Do you think the Commanders dealt Chase Young, like and Sweat and them like to go full rebuild like around Sam Howell or just to dump money, get rid of like
I think
I think they were walking. Both going to walk. in
I
there,
don't
so
think,
they
Yeah,
got
I don't
that's
think
the thing.
we're gonna re-sign.
so they just
I
kind
think
of
they
get what
had
you
to
can.
get something out of them.
I see the Commanders. I don't know how they're going to look in a year or two. Just because Eric Bieniemy only took that job to get a leg up in head coaching vacancies, because they saw Eric Bieniemy like, oh well, you're with Patrick Mahomes. Of course, your offense is going to be top tier in the NFL. So he's like, okay, well, let me go to a crappy team and make their offense good. And their offense is good when Sam Howell's clicking.
yeah.
Their offense is bad when Sam Howell is missing. So their offense really depends on
Dude.
Sam Howell.
When he was like 24 for 26, it's like what?
Yeah. I forget what game that was.
But
was
then- but
that
then-
last week or
I
week
think it was
before?
last week, but like then
It was
it's
week
like,
before. It was week before.
But then you're like, oh, he's not looking good this week. He's definitely like a light switch.
Yeah. Like the week I started him in fantasy. He definitely had the off day that day. He got me like 2 points. It was like week 3. It happens.
Yep.
Does yeah.
All right. Well, that was a good episode, boys. We'll see you guys next week with episode 12 after the Texans game.
Sure.
See you guys.
See ya.
Yep.